Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturning. Last week I did an interactive remote demonstration for a club. The topic was an introduction to segmented woodturning. A topic of that sort requires some advanced preparation because, as you know, in segmented work we need to glue wood together, and in a demonstration we don't want to wait for that glue to dry. We went through the whole process. We have a laminated base that is stable and not going to crack in our vessel. We went through cutting segments and gluing them into rings, and we went through gluing rings together into the vessel. For that process I had to have one that was finished, that's this one, and one that we could finish once it was glued up, and one that we glued up during the demonstration, because we actually did that. I'm left with additional bowls when it's done, but I decided for this video, let's explore the impact of different ring heights, because these are the same pattern and the same number of rings to start with. However, this one I had as rough rings glued up in the same pattern as this one, but then I decided let's split the rings into thirds and re-glue them together and glue it up in similar pattern to see what the impact is. I think that there are times, a lot of times, when I will prefer this one because it has a very nice look to the additional rings in there. Other times I probably like this one, but it is a little bit more blocky. So for this video I'm going to take the interim product of the demonstration, split the rings and glue it up again and do this. It's not the process you'd want to do overall, but it is one that you can use in an emergency like this one, a leftover bowl. So let's turn them.
Here is my starting point. This project consists of a laminated base, 2 8-segment rings of cherry, and 1 8-segment ring of walnut. Remember, I would not normally follow the process that I will now follow. I would prefer to not split rings in the final glue up. I'm using my bandsaw jig for all this ring splitting. I will only show one instance out of 9 I need to do for this project. The first task is to align the cut point and ensure that the fence is parallel with the blade. Then slowly push the sled through the blade, being especially careful of 2 things. 1, to keep the sled riding against the alignment fence, and 2, when finishing a cut to reduce any pressure so the blade does not jump when the blade cuts through. With the cut finished, I need to clean up the surfaces. I have faceplates on both the top and the bottom, so I can mount either side for cleaning up and to re-glue the pieces together. One by one, I cut, clean, and glue all 3 rings into approximate thirds. I let the glue dry over 2 nights. With all that cutting and gluing completed, I can mount the project on the lathe. Normally, I like to trim the rings to round as they are glued on. This time, of course, I have to do it all at the end as I start turning. So the first order of business is to trim the exterior to round. I'm using my large bowl gouge in a shear cut position with the handle very low and the cutting edge nearly vertical. I love turning segmented wood once the points are gone. It streams off almost like soft wet wood when cut with a gouge. A piece cracked out at the rim from a crack in the walnut. I need to cut that out also. This is not the final shape, but it is the wood I will have to deal with. Same thing for the interior. Often, I like to do the initial rounding with a heavy box scraper. The wood streams out very nicely with the scraper despite the irregular surface. With the surface more smooth, I can also use a heavy round nose scraper, or use my large bowl gouge. With both the inside and outside surface now smooth from the initial polygons, I can go back to the exterior to go for the final outside profile. I do check to ensure I'm not cutting too much wood that would make the outside smaller than the inside. With that in mind, my focus is on the outer profile. Once I am happy with the outer profile, I can return to the interior to make sure the inside flows well with a good wall thickness. This is large bowl gouge work. Then thoroughly sand through all the grits. Often I will part off the bowl from the faceplate on the lathe. However, my bandsaw is still set up from all the ring splitting, so rather than risk aerial acrobatics parting on the lathe, I will saw it off. Now for a typical mount to coal jaws in my chuck so that I can trim the foot. I only want to ensure the foot is level and a bit concave so that the bowl will sit well on a flat surface. Then sand the foot. My preferred finish is walnut oil. By itself, it leaves a nice matte finish that can be renewed with more walnut oil. In this case, I also buffed the bowl for a nice shine, but without the plastic feel. While I would normally split rings before gluing them, this works to show the difference on a similar bowl. I like it. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week I make a new wood turning video and add it to my website. Please wear your full face shield for safety anytime the lathe is running. I will see you next week with another wood turning video. Take time to count your blessings.